So now guys, we're about to start our tour. So we are going to drive through there and start the tour. It's cold a little bit outside, and this tour is most of the time you're outside, according to them.
That's why we have our winter coat on.
So see you guys there. As you can see, we have a sticker because we are the guests, and only the guests can come up here.
Only by reservation.
Only by reservation. You cannot come up here if you don't have a reservation. So for now, let's get ready. So I guess this is our first stop of our tour today.
University of Texas, and my name is Joe, one of the program staff here at the observatory. At the summit of the mountain over here, we can see two of our telescope domes. Already 2-inch dome on the right-hand side, 107-inch on the left-hand side. Now we can't go into any of the domes, but there are some great views from the summit of the mountain. The program will take place completely outside. And up there I'll talk about how telescopes work, how we do research here, and some other things. And then to wrap up the tour, we'll be going over to the silver dome you can see over here. That contains the
Oh, we're almost there.
We also have a 12-inch refractor on campus with IU in Bloomington. Now behind me we can see the dome of the 82-inch autostruma telescope. First telescope again opened up here in 1939. Now the telescope itself, in fact, I think they gave you some handouts today. Did they give you the handouts?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't need those now, but when we go see go to the other mountain, I'll be talking about some things with those handouts, so you can refer to those in the handouts later on. So not a big deal right now. Anyway, so the telescope is on the top floor of the building. The other floors contain storage areas, offices, and other things. And it's also a library too, a small library located on the ground floor. Now, in the old days, when astronomers, when we ran by Chicago, astronomers they had sleeping quarters in the dome, in the building, and they have an observing room that lasts maybe a month or so whenever they used this telescope. Binoculars are essentially a pair of refractor telescopes. Refractor telescopes, they use lenses to gather the light. The pay telescopes over here, those are refractor telescopes. Most large telescopes in the world, there are reflectors to gather light. The way it works, the light comes in to the end of the telescope, travels down the tube, and strikes what we call the primary mirror. From the primary mirror, the light reflects back up to a smaller mirror. Now, what do you think that smaller mirror might be called? The primary mirror? Secondary, right. From the secondary mirror, we can take the light back down, and depending on the telescope, we might take it out the back of the telescope through a hole cut of the primary mirror, or perhaps, to other places, like a 107-inch telescope has ports on the side where we can take the light out through those ports to various instruments. Here, in the model here, there are several differences in between this mirror and the model and a telescope mirror. First off, the mirror in this model, it is flat. Now the mirrors in our telescopes, they are curved. Why would we not, what would happen to starlight hitting a flat mirror? It travels thousands of light years away, hits a flat mirror, it reflects off. It's curved to focus the light. Also, our telescope mirrors have a coating of aluminum. The coating is on the front and not the back. Now, why do you think the coating is on the front of the mirror and not the back of the mirror? Well, if the coating is on the back of the mirror, the light will pass through glass and get distorted. These types of mirrors, they're called front surface or first surface mirrors. And our telescope mirrors have a very thin coating on it of aluminum. The coating is so thin, we could recoat the mirror about 10 times with the amount of aluminum found in a typical can. Very thin coating.
This is a 107-inch telescope.
You see the tracks it slides on. Catwalk. Observatories are located on high mountain tops because you're up above more of the atmosphere of the Earth. Right here at McDonald, we're up above a quarter of the atmosphere of the Earth. The Keck telescopes in Hawaii, for instance, they're up above about half of the atmosphere of the Earth. So high altitude, remoteness. Did you notice any green grass in the area? Dry climate. We average about 20 inches of rain a year. Most of the rain occurs during midsummer. We get some snow. We had a few inches of snow up here earlier this month. I've seen over a foot of snow up here before. In fact, when we had that snowstorm here, some areas like around Big Bend got a foot or more of snow in those areas. So remoteness, dry climate, altitude. One other reason you may not think about.
What do they use the nitrogen for?
That is used for cooling instruments.
Okay.
I'll discuss that in detail in a couple of minutes. All right, so do you agree with me about this? Giving you a hint, the price of the land in the 1930s. How much do you think it cost?
$1 an acre?
Actually, it's free.
Oh.
Donated. Yeah, donated by the Mount MacGyver and in honor of her grandfather. Okay, now I want to point out some things you can see today. We have people on staff that help us keep our skies as dark as possible. Now, the idea with what we call light pollution is not to keep everyone in the dark, but it's to have efficient use of lighting. You want lights that are shielded, that point to the ground, not up in the sky. Not up in the sky, point to the ground where it should be. Telescope. That telescope was opened up in the late 1950s. It was used for research up until the mid 1990s. Then after that, it was renovated in 2000, upgraded its pointing system, and we've been using it for viewing programs for the public. Those are currently on hiatus right now due to the pandemic. So when Smith came here, the only telescopes we had were in this dome here, and also the 82-inch telescope. The house behind it is our superintendent's house. This house over here, that is our director's house. Also, our director, Dr. McDonald. He was in Austin when he used to here. VIPs at that house, and of course it has a great view. And you can see the dome of the Hobby-Eberly telescope. We'll be going over to that area in just a couple of minutes. When it opened up about 11 years ago, it surpassed 2 telescopes in Hawaii, the Keck telescopes, as the world's largest. Each of the Keck telescopes cost about $100 million to build. We initially spent $20 million on the HET. Now the price tag has increased, but I'll talk about that when we drive to the other mountain. It worked.
54 miles, he said.
Here.
Did you know that? Okay.
So he's staying here already. Here, baby. See?
Get a picture over here. That background.
Okay. Continue to our next destination.
We're going to the
To the Hobby-Eberly telescope.
over there.
Yeah, so we are going that way, guys. Hobby-Eberly telescope. So we cannot get into the dome because they're not allowing now. So today's adventure, guys, is just outside the telescope.
Yeah, but it said on the night tour you can look through the telescope.
Yeah, but maybe they're not allowing right
I
now.
don't think they're doing the night
Yeah,
tour.
because
though. They're not doing
It's only 11 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
Yeah.
their tour. So I
So don't
guess
think you're going to come here and at night and get to see
the stars.
Yeah, you have to go online anyway to make a reservation.
That's right. So
At least 2 weeks in advance.
just check their website.
Because this group is, I think we're full. There's no more could go on.
Yeah. And I guess their tour also here, it's only Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
Is it? Good thing we get this time.
Yeah. So we can see it.
And the history of this.
We've been here.
We've been here. So let's go up to the mountain. So we are going up to the mountain now.
And this is the highest road, maintained road
In Texas.
in Texas.
Look at that, guys. This is the Hobby-Eberly
Yep, look, see,
telescope.
probably used to be able to go in there.
This mountain is called Mount Fowlkes, donated by the Fowlkes ranching family, about 100 feet lower than the other mountain, Mount Locke. Now, the main telescope on this mountain is housed in this big silver dome here. It is called the Hobby-Eberly telescope. The name Hobby-Eberly, that comes from William Hobby and Robert Eberly. William Hobby was a former lieutenant governor of Texas. Robert Eberly was an oil and gas chairman from Pennsylvania. There are some donors for the telescope. And the way we saved the most money on it was by using things you could find in a catalog, things off the shelf. The dome is a geodesic dome, like what you'd find in Doppler radar systems. You just bought it in a kit form and put it together. The dome, it is 86 feet in diameter and 100 feet tall. And instead of opening up like doors in an elevator, like it said the 107 telescope, the shutter slides around on a single track like a door in a minivan. You can see the shutter for the dome here and the track to the right that it slides on. But of course the dome rotates to look at pretty much anything in the sky that we want to view. Now, if you look at the picture of the telescope in your handouts, the blue struts of the telescope, those are made by a company that make the supports for roofing and airports and shopping centers and malls. The telescope rotates on devices called air bearings, like inner tubes. You pump them full of air, about 40 psi, rotate the telescope, and deflate the bearings. And these things on the side look like mini blinds. Those are louvers. We can open those up to help improve the air circulation on the dome floor. At the top, you can see lightning rods. You don't want to be up here during a thunderstorm.
Guys, that's all for today. Our tour is ended. Our 1.5 hour tour is done. So for now, we are going back to our road trip. So thank you so much for watching, guys. This is Wandering World once again, and bye-bye. See you on our next adventure. Bye-bye.